Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason, and this week I'll be working on a custom piece commissioned by none other than me. It's high time I created a display piece of my fair weather summer motor. I've always had a real soft spot for R129 SLs as far back as I can remember. There's just something so elegant and simple about them, but they were so incredibly technologically advanced for their time. They also came at a time when Mercedes-Benz was still at the top of their game with their build quality. I really like the chunkiness of the early R129s, but when this later one came up in aquamarinblau, I couldn't say no. It is a joint purchase between my dad and I. We'd jointly bought an older car previously, but moved it on to get something more exciting. For me, R129s were top of the list. Unfortunately, in dismantling this SIKU, I managed to snap the plastic base in two. However, I was quite confident I could force the two pieces back together with no gluing required. While I was open to colour choices on an SL, my dad was really keen on getting an aquamarine Merc. I'm pleased that we took the plunge, as I think the facelifted SL looks great in it. I'd best explain the virtues of the R129 Generation SL. The R129 was the fourth generation of Mercedes-Benz sport-liked SL class, with its roots stemming back to the Gullwing 300 SL of 1954. Followers of the channel may remember my restoration of a Matchbox W113 Pagoda SL from a few years back. These were considered the second generation SL and were available as a roadster or coupe, arriving in 1963. The R107 Roadster and C107 Coupe replaced the W113 in 1971 and had a long production span between then and the arrival of the R129 in 1989. I customised an R107 by Majorette a while ago. Both of those videos are worth checking out, once you've finished with this one of course. Development on the R107's replacement started in 1984, with the new model based on a shortened floor pan of a W124 E-Class. It would feature a whole host of innovations not seen before, including electronically controlled active suspension and a hidden roll bar that would automatically raise in the event of the car going the wrong way up. The R107's aging rear suspension of semi-trailing arms was replaced with a multi-link axle. Standard features on the R129 would include electric windows, mirrors and seats, as well as a fully automated hydraulic convertible soft top. It was also the first vehicle to have the seat belts integrated into the seats, in place of anchored to the B-pillar and floor. This made getting into the rear much easier. Not that there's much back there other than stowage and access to serviceable parts. Although here in the UK you could have the option of having two rear seats added in, which the original owner of the car chose for mine. Sadly though, to call it a 2+2 would be complimentary. There's next to no legroom back there, even with the driving position as far forward as you can manage. Harry Metcalf of Harry's Garage and Evo magazine fame says he used his R129 in the south of France to ferry 4 people to and from the airport. They must have been laying across the seats to manage that, surely. Realistically, they'd only be of any use for younger children. The R129 SL was unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show in March 1989 and went on sale later that summer. It was available with 3 different engine options: the 3-litre 12-valve single overhead cam straight 6 M103, badged as the 300 SL, the M104 24-valve double overhead cam engine of the same size, usually badged as the 300 SL24, and the M119 5-litre 32-valve V8 500 SL. These produced 188, 228 and 322 horsepower respectively. Early transmissions were a 4-speed auto, with 5-speed made available later on in production, or a very rare 5-speed manual on the 300 SLs. Not many of those about at all. The car came runner-up to the Citroën XM in the 1989 European Car of the Year Awards. A V12 was added to the range in 1992. This 6-litre, 48-valve M120 powered car was badged as the 600 SL. The following year, Mercedes started redesignating their model names. As such, the 500 SL became the SL 500. The M103 engine was dropped in the same year, as the M104 was modified to 2.8 litres for the SL 280 or 3.2 litres for the SL 320. Only the 280 could be ordered with a manual gearbox. It underwent some cosmetic changes in 1994, including clear indicator lenses, a digital odometer, optional mobile phone, and a Bose sound system including a subwoofer now fitted as standard. In 1995, the R129 had a minor facelift, distinguished by the body-coloured bumpers, changed from 3 to 2 slots for the front wing vents, the addition of side airbags, and 5-speed automatic transmission on the 5 and 600. Xenon headlamps were optional on the 500 and standard on the 600. A panoramic removable hardtop roof became an option in 1996 in place of the solid tin top of old. While a nice luxury, these are bloody heavy to remove. They were an expensive option when new. 1996 cars also had an automatic windscreen wiper, climate control with a larger LCD display, and automatically disabled passenger airbags when nobody is detected sitting in that seat. With the 1998 second facelift, a number of changes followed. The M119 V8 was replaced with the new M113, which saw a power reduction to 302 horsepower. The lovely straight 6 M104, which mine has, I might add, in 3.2 litre spec, was dropped in favour of an equivalently sized M112 V6. Power dropped on the 320 by 7 horsepower, while the 280s increased by 11. The V12 remained unchanged. Externally, the car received body-coloured door handles, tail lights with curved faces in place of the traditional ribbed style, and 17-inch wheels as standard. Inside, it had soft nappa leather replacing the perforated leather trim from before, a new steering wheel design, and silver rings around the instrument cluster dials. Production of the R129, designed by the legendary Bruno Sacco, ran until 2001, when it was replaced by the R230 model. During that time, there were a number of special editions. Until 1999, AMG were independent of Mercedes-Benz. In 1993, the two firms entered into a cooperative agreement which enabled AMG to use MB dealerships and allowed them to co-develop vehicles. AMG had produced a modification for the 500 SL in 1991, with its engine uprated to 6 litres. Their biggest SL production span began after the aforementioned agreement though, with the SL60 AMG. This sold from 1993 to 1998 using a 6-litre V8 that produced 375 horsepower. In 1995, the SL72 AMG was produced in limited numbers totalling 35 units. This had a 7.1-litre V12 which made 503 horsepower. A similar SL70 model was produced between 1996 and 1997 in a run of 150 cars. Between 1997 and 2001, AMG offered the SL73 AMG, powered by a 7.3-litre M120 V12 that pushed out 518 horsepower. This car could achieve a 0 to 62 mph time of 4.5 seconds and could hit 199 miles per hour. So good and so powerful was this engine that it was used in the Pagani Zonda. Between 1998 and the end of production, the SL55 AMG was built to a more sedate 5.4 litres at 349 horsepower. Away from AMG, Mercedes themselves made a Mille Miglia Edition SL in 1995 to commemorate 40 years since Stirling Moss's win of the road race of the same name. 40 were built, with Stirling himself receiving the first SL500 model. It was also available in 280 or 320 spec. These cars came in silver, had 6-spoke alloy wheels, had red and black interiors, carbon fibre trim and commemorative badging. A final year special edition called the Silver Arrow commemorated Mercedes' 1930s racing cars. These had an AMG body kit, special silver metallic paint, black leather interiors and commemorative badging. There were several other special editions over the years, including an F1 edition in 2001. 213,000 R129s were built during 13 years of production. It rose to early notoriety in the UK because Princess Diana chose to trade in her Jaguar XJS for a 500 SL. She became the first member of the royal family to use a foreign car. I don't blame her. As you might have gathered from the info, my SL is a 1997 SL320 with the M104 straight 6. This makes it a post-facelift car. The model I'm using was introduced by SIKU in 1992, therefore making it pre-facelift. I'm having to work with it to give it a slightly more modern look. SIKU produced these models until 1999, numbered 1011 for models without a removable soft top, or 1012 for those with one. 1011 versions came painted maroon like this was originally, metallic green or white all over. 1012s with the roof were 3 shades of blue, a light metallic, mid or dark blue teamed with a grey or dark blue plastic base and a blue or black plastic roof attachment. Here though, I'm at a point where I can start reassembling mine. There are 2 prongs that secure the clear plastic windscreen and headlight piece in. That is partially covered by the interior piece. You'll note that this piece has 2 holes for a roof to slot into. Those same holes feature on the real car to accept the hardtop. The AMG Aero 3 wheels aren't a perfect match to the monoblock seen on mine, but they do a very good job nonetheless. I'm pleased that I could incorporate the chrome rim on them. It's yet another excellent set by Creative 164. Here was how the SIKU Mercedes 500 SL looked before I began work on converting it to look more like my later SL320. I started this project off by snapping the base in 2, so it wasn't a good start. Then the Matte Effect clear lacquer acted as a stripper and basically dissolved the paint, making it very thin. So I had to almost entirely start over with the base. But I've managed to work around these issues and this is how it now looks. I'm really happy with the silver and chrome wheels. They could do with being a touch bigger, but that's more of an issue with the casting. It's 1 in 55 scale, so ever so slightly bigger than the Hot Wheels they're meant for. The colour of the interior is basically spot on, and under this studio light, the body is more vivid than in reality. But then again, the real paint changes all the time in different lights. Either way, I'm very pleased with the result. And I guess that's all that matters on this occasion. I'm still intrigued to hear what you think of it though. Let me know down below. Also, let me know if you think I should have a stab at my car using a different casting, like a Matchbox or a Corgi for example. Loads of manufacturers made scale R129s, so I'm spoilt for choice. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and make sure you subscribe for all my latest works. So thanks for watching and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.